Welcome back to another video on the channel today. Today we're back, of course, talking about Wrexham Football Club. We've got a very interesting video that I'm going to be bringing you today. Of course, we're coming towards the end of the League One season and we now know there's a few players that could possibly be leaving Wrexham Football Club, and we're going to be talking today about 6 players, in my opinion, that I think will leave Wrexham. Some you might agree with, some you might not. So yeah, before we get going in today's video, if you'd like to see more Wrexham AFC content on YouTube, this is the place to be. Make sure to click the red subscribe button if you are new watching this video, and if you haven't subscribed already, we're on the road to 26,000 subscribers. You smashed the likes on the last video, so let's see if we can let's go for 350 likes on today's video. And without further ado, let's get talking about the players that I think will leave Wrexham Football Club at the end of this League One season. Starting off with a name that I think, won't shock anyone watching this video, it is Will Boyle. Now, we signed Will Boyle in the summer of 2023 upon our return to the English Football League, and we signed him. I remember myself thinking we signed a really established League Two player. Of course, he's gained promotion out of League 2 to League 1 alongside Ben Tozer in League 2. And I also remember thinking we've signed a really experienced defender who's going to be, a consistent player on the left-hand side in our back line. And he's never really lived up to the expectation we had when he first signed for Wrexham Football Club. He never really cemented himself as a starter in the starting 11 in League 2. And I think, looking at Will Boyle's experience and his quality, was fresh off, playing for Huddersfield Town in the Championship. He had, a really successful spell at Cheltenham Town. I thought he was going to come in and be one of our best defenders, but as we've seen, we've got plenty of options across the back line, and Will Boyle's game time was really limited. He's only played 31 times in a Wrexham shirt over his spell at the football club. I think the problem for Boyle was consistency. I think there were times where he'd have some, really good performances in the starting 11. He'd have a string of 2-3 good performances. He'd have that one moment which could have cost us pivotally in the League 2 season. He's had multiple red cards. You think away at Newport, you think away at MK Dons, where you just have that moment of erraticness and would cost us the game and cost us the points in those games. So I think we all knew going into this League One season Boyle was not going to play a big part in the matchday squad, and especially not in the starting 11. And we've seen exactly that. He's featured 0 times in the league squad for us this season. He's played 0 league games in League 1. The only glimpses we've got of Boyle have been in the EFL Trophy and in the Carabao Cup. And I think as well the situation for Boyle is quite a sticky one, because I think he would have left Wrexham Football Club in the January transfer window had it not been for injury. So he's likely staying at us until the end of the season, and I think he's got 1 more year on his contract. And even if he does have that 1 more year, I think Wrexham will look to offload Will Boyle in the summer. So the next player we're going to be talking about, Luke Bolton. Now, Bolton was signed for competition and cover for our right wing back Ryan Barnett, but with Barnett's form ever since Luke Bolton signed for Wrexham Football Club, mixed in with a bit of injuries here and there for Luke Bolton, it has not been a successful spell for him in a Wrexham shirt. And that might sound harsh because we've seen some slight glimpses of what Bolton can bring to this Wrexham team, but you're looking at the statistics, he's only made 17 league appearances for Wrexham Football Club, and we've not seen the player that he was at Salford City. Yeah, and I think it's a very similar situation to Will Boyle in terms of possibly leaving in the January transfer window. But like I said, Boyle and Bolton have both suffered similar injuries and are out for a similar amount of time, and I think they both would have gone in the January transfer window had it not been for injuries. Bolton will probably have more of a chance of getting in the matchday squad than what Will Boyle does currently have, but I think you're looking down their right hand side now, we've got Ryan Barnett and we've got Ryan Longman. I don't see any way back into the squad, and especially not in the starting 11 for Luke Bolton. And even if we go up to the Championship, I think it is just going to be a really tough time for him, and I think he will be one of the players that we will look to sell in the summer. There's clearly a good player in Luke Bolton. It's just been the strength and competition in that right hand side, and you look at the injuries that he has suffered. There's not been 5 or 6 games that he has played in this starting 11, and we've only seen snippets of what Luke Bolton can bring to this Wrexham team. But as I said, Barnett's rise to form in this Wrexham team, and of course the addition to Ryan Longman, has meant Luke Bolton has been primarily used as a cut player for us. You look as well, he's 25 years old, he's still very young in terms of a football career wise, and he needs to go out somewhere where he's going to be playing regular football, and I can't see that changing at Wrexham. So talking now on Sam Dalby, now a player that is out of contract at the end of the season for Wrexham, and he's reportedly received a new contract from Wrexham Football Club and has rejected it. So I think there's loads of points pointing towards the fact Dalby will not be staying on at Wrexham Football Club this season. There'll be some fans that are disappointed. There'll be some fans that are slightly happy in terms of player-wise, because he's gone up to Dundee United. He scored something like 12 league goals for them and has played really, really well, regained his confidence. I think there is a high chance that in a few months he will leave Wrexham Football Club on a free, which is disappointing that we won't get a transfer fee. But we've done everything we can in terms of offering him a new contract, and I can understand why he's rejected it. Like I said, he's gone up to Scotland, set the league alight, 12 league goals in 25 league games, and there's no guarantee that he does come back to Wrexham if he signs this new contract and jumps straight into the starting 11, where he's probably guaranteed to be a starter week in, week out if he did go permanently to Dundee United. So I can understand why he wouldn't want to accept that contract from Wrexham. With the options that we do currently have up top, I think it would be slightly hard, and especially if we do go up to the Championship. Dalby, like Bolton, is still such a young player in terms of his football career. He needs to be starting week in, week out, and he's done that up in Scotland for Dundee United. He's hit double digits, so I would like to see him go up to Scotland and excel rather than come back to Wrexham and possibly have a few games in the starting 11. He might not be up to it and then rot on the bench or even in the reserves. So let's hope Dalby can regain his career, because we've seen some good signs from Dalby in a Wrexham shirt, but ultimately I don't think he is the striker to sort of solve our problems that we do have up front, especially with the two new strikers that we have signed. So we're going to be talking on Ollie Palmer. Ollie Palmer now might be a name that might surprise a few of you at home, but in my opinion, I think there is every chance that we do see Ollie Palmer leave Wrexham Football Club at the end of the season. We've seen in the January transfer window the signings of Jay Rodriguez and Sam Smith. The signings of those two have massively jeopardised Ollie Palmer's place in the matchday squad and in the starting 11 for Wrexham Football Club. I thought when those two signed, it would possibly mean Palmer would drop to the bench, but as we've seen, since those two have signed, Jay Rodriguez and Sam Smith, Palmer has not featured in the matchday squad for the past 6 matches. Will that change between now until the end of the season? In Parky's eyes, I don't think it will. And I think a few of you will probably be interested to hear my thoughts on the Ollie Palmer situation, but for me, I'm disappointed for him. I'm really, really disappointed for him. I thought at the start of the season we had a good version of Ollie Palmer. He looked, really fresh and really bright in the starting 11. He scored a few goals, and I think he was playing really well alongside Jack Marriott. And of course, Marriott sustained that injury. And Palmer's performances, I wouldn't say, completely dropped. They haven't been all there, I think, since Marriott did get injured. For the first half of the season, Ollie Palmer was consistently in that starting 11, putting his all into the games that he did play. 5 goals and assists in 27 games, but in Parky's eyes, that's clearly not good enough. But I think as well, people forget, okay, it is the whole team, but you think Palmer was up front for the first half of the season that's got Wrexham where we are. If we, possibly didn't have an Ollie Palmer player who did the dirty work up front for us, he did that hold-up play, and I think people massively sort of overlook his performances in the Wrexham team. And I think people watching at home in comparison to watching in the stadium are 2 different views at times for Wrexham Football Club, but for someone that goes week in, week out, I think it is very harsh how Ollie Palmer has sort of been treated. To just completely get dropped out of the squad, like I said, completely, I think is very harsh, because there were a couple of performances in the first half of the season where Ollie Palmer, was good. The fans were behind him, and like I said, if we didn't have that focal point up front like Ollie Palmer, he might not have scored and assist all the goals in the world. I don't think Wrexham Football Club will be as high as we are. In my opinion, yes, I've got to be honest, there are probably better options out there. On paper, Jay Rodriguez and Sam Smith, in terms of goal scoring ability, experience, they're probably looked at as better options in Phil Parkinson's eyes, but I don't think Palmer's performances have warranted him to be dropped completely out of the squad. But this evidently shows, the quality and the options that we do have now in the squad at Wrexham Football Club and how we've strengthened over the 2 transfer windows. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Would you keep Ollie Palmer on next season, or would you let him go? In my opinion, I think the situation regarding Ollie Palmer and how he's been dropped completely out of the squad is bad. I would still have him in and around the squad, but if you're looking at possibly going up to the Championship next season, or if we don't go up and we're going to strengthen so much in the summer transfer window, then I don't think Palmer does stay on. But I think the situation regarding how much of a impact he did have on the first half of the season in comparison to just completely getting dropped out of the matchday squad, yeah, I'm not too sure on that. So talking on the next player, Jordan Davies now. It's probably a name you might have forgotten about over the past few months or so, but it is going to be a shame to see Jordan Davies go, but I think it is inevitable now. You know, we went up to Grimsby Town in League Two to sort of gain experience, gain game time and gain valuable minutes, because he didn't get it last season in League Two, and I think it was going to be very, very hard for him to get it in League One this season. And, you know, in terms of game time at Wrexham, he's really struggled for it since his injury in 2022. Up for Grimsby Town in League Two, I think he showed some good, you know, moments of magic. I think he scored a brace in his opening games at Grimsby Town, but he's gone up there and he's had 2 separate injuries. It's been a really unfortunate spell, and you know, it's really a big shame because Davies had so much potential. That first season he had back when fans were in the stadium, we saw the best of Jordan Davies, and we thought, you know, Davies was the next big thing. We were even talking about him possibly getting a Wales call-up, and it really is a shame to see how much injuries can impact a player's career and, you know, sort of confidence, because it's such a shame what injuries can do to a player. But I think Davies, in terms of game time, and like I said, if he's going to want to be playing football week in, week out, we can't sort of hold on to a player for sentimental value and for, you know, being one of our own. He needs to go out, he needs to play regular game time, and I think Parky and Jordan Davies will understand the situation at Wrexham Football Club in terms of game time and, you know, playing consistently for another club. So I think, I know we'll see Jordan Davies move on at the end of the season. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I think a lot of you will agree with me on this one. And talking on the final player now, it's Mo Faal now. Yet again, another striker I'm talking about possibly leaving Wrexham Football Club at the end of the season. But I think this would be a move that would be both beneficial to Mo Faal and for Wrexham Football Club. Mo Faal is a player we paid a lot of money for in the summer transfer window, and I think it's fair to say it's not quite worked out. We've seen him score a couple of goals in the Virtue Trophy, but in terms of league action, I think we've only seen him for like less than 150 minutes. You know, he's come off the bench. I don't think he started one league game for us. You know, myself included, there was a lot of hype and I was expecting big things from Mo Faal. Of course, we saw West Brom fans saying they didn't really want to let him go, and then he's come to us, and yeah, it's just not quite worked out, and I don't really know why. And I expected him to play a lot bigger role, not just in the starting 11, but just in the matchday squad, and we've barely seen him. And, you know, I think I've got my notes down here. He's only played 56 minutes of football for Wrexham Football Club in League One, and in total it probably does amount to around 200, which is massively disappointing because I'm sure we paid sort of a mid-6-figure fee for Mo Faal, so it is massively disappointing. And like we said with Boyle and Bolton, I think a loan move in the January transfer window would have happened, but it was not possible. It had gone against EFL rules because you can't play for 3 EFL sides in one season. You know, he's played for West Brom in the Carabao Cup, and he's of course played for Wrexham Football Club in the league and in the Virtue Trophy, so he wasn't able to move out on loan in the January transfer window. So I think a loan move in the summer is definitely possible. I would not let him go. I wouldn't even think about letting Mo Faal go on a permanent deal, considering how old he is, the amount of money we did pay for him, and you know, there's still a lot of potential there. I just think he needs to go out and just get regular game time, get his confidence back, and hopefully come back to Wrexham and score goals. Could the situation change for Mo Faal if Wrexham did go up to the Championship? I would really struggle to see where he would get league action for us. So I think it all points towards Mo Faal possibly getting that loan move in the summer to hopefully a League One or a top end League Two side. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. So that is it for today's video. If you did enjoy, make sure to drop a like, make sure to subscribe, do all that good stuff. Let me know your list of players that you think will leave Wrexham Football Club come the end of this season, and like I said, drop a like, do all that good stuff, and I'll see you in another video. Let's hope for a big 3 points against Rotherham United tomorrow, and yeah, take care guys, up the town.